my cry and wipe tears from my eyes. Come on, harmony. No, you thought this. You hate.
Oh, I don't know that song.
Talk sisters.
I don't remember that song. Hey guys, we're here and we wanted to have a discussion with you. Not too heavy, but something that's very profound in regards to the LGBT community and church and religion.
Yeah, because as we all have been aware of, all of our lives really, it's always been something that's been discussed. But as of late, we've definitely experienced a little bit of a direct hit to the community from, you know, the Christian community.
I think it really is just going to touch on our perspective and what we think about it, and you know, give you guys a little insight on how we feel.
Yeah. Is you ready?
I'm ready.
I know you fucking
I'm gonna tell you why you're not delivered. And I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with you. Walking around here looking like a sissy. And they don't want nobody to say nothing about you. I'm gonna say something about you. You're perverted and you're lost. And all you fags can go to hell.
Homosexuality, Christianity, homosexuality, and almost every time we have a pastor on, it's a conversation we have. And you are known for these uplifting ceremony services, and you talk to a lot of, it's like 45,000 people who attend. And I always wonder, when you say homosexuality is a sin, and there's a bunch of people who clearly are gay who are in your church, you're calling them sinners.
You want to feel like a girl. I wish God would give you the monthly of a girl. I wish He had you bleeding out of your butt.
So, like, with the LGBT community, like, we know the scripture and all that kind of stuff that says, you know, thou shalt not do and that and the other. And why do you think that it's such an issue, or something that's so harped on with black churches? Because, you know, I don't have any experiences with any other church, but within our church, I find that that's one of the most
Biggest thing that's talked about.
Yeah, that sin is one of the most biggest sins that they really focus on.
Well, being a member of the LGBT community, and being that I'm very heavy within my spirituality, being a Christian and everything else, I think that it does get talked about a lot. It is frowned upon, sort of say, a lot. And I think it's more so talked about so much is because it's something that's, it's never ending. So it's just like, if you were to steal something, you steal it for that one time, don't nobody know you stole it. But with you being, you know, homosexual, you're going into that atmosphere, they're looking at you, they're judging as far as what you're dressed like, what you're acting like, what are your mannerisms. They can be too feminine, they can be, you know, too much of that, and it's something that's just basically displayed continuously. Yeah. So it's something that they can always point out, and they can like, hey, you did this, because you're not gonna say because you stole a piece of bubble gum from the store last week that somebody's gonna go into church and you're gonna see like, oh, you're a thief. Let's talk about that. And you shouldn't steal, because they don't know. Yeah. It's something that we walk around with every day because it's who we are. It's our nature. It's something that, you know, not necessarily we chose as far as being a part of our life, but that's something that, you know, we're born with, and that's who we are.
But with that being said, though, doesn't that, when you say that that's who we are, and it's not what we chose, it's, you know, doesn't that make it something that should be less spoken about just because that is who you are? Because as far as I'm concerned, I thought the rule was come as you are. You know, God is a merciful God, and He loves everybody, all of His creation. So what?
So let's not take that out of context, because God does love me.
Right.
He continuously blesses me.
Yeah.
And He always keeps me at bay. Like, I cannot say that He does not love me at any point. I, like you stated before, it is come as you are, yes, but then again, that come as you are can still be frowned upon, because even if somebody comes as they are and they're really not necessarily not dressed apart for the African American church, you know, they're looked at like, oh, look at this hussy, she got her knees all out and her skirt's too short.
Put your stockings on.
You know, it's stuff like that. So those are the things. Is like, you know, you come as you are, but in the church, just like, I mean, it's very hard to talk about those things, because it's almost like you try to go to church and you try to get that freeness and you try to be in that non-judgmental zone, but that's the most judge zone ever.
That's what I was saying too. I grew up in a religion a little bit differently. It wasn't Baptist or Episcopal or nothing like that. It was Jehovah's Witness, and you know they have similar rules as to, you know, homosexuality and things like that. I don't think it's harped on as much as it is within the Black church. But it's definitely something that's not commendable or accepted. So, you know, I guess my question would be, when it comes to the whole matter, how do you personally feel? Because you are a devout Christian and you do have a strong faith in that. But as a gay man, as a Black gay man, how do you truly feel about that particular rule within the churches?
I guess with me, I don't take it so critical, because I know that what my faith is and what my belief is in God, and I know that He knows my heart. And He loves me for me. So therefore, when those things are brought up in church, whatever, I don't really harp on it. It doesn't really hit to me unless it's coming from hate. Like if they're really preaching a hate sermon towards it, and that's when I'll probably get a little bit uneasy. And it's like, hey, this is more so judging me versus you trying to, you know, teach the Bible or the word from whatever it is, and you have that on your spirit. But if it comes from a person or a place of hate, then that's something I really don't condemn. I'm like, I don't enjoy that. I mean, who would want to enjoy that at any point?
Right. I think it's so heartbreaking, because I know a lot of people in the LGBT community, and they're all so beautiful, and they all have great hearts, and to see the stuff that we go through, it's so heartbreaking, because it's amazing to me how the people of God always forget who God is.
Correct.
Do you get what I'm saying?
They do. They forget
the people of God always tend to forget who God is. And that is so discouraging, because you look to certain people for spiritual encouragement, for spiritual uplifting, not to be torn down because of who you are and a choice that you really didn't have a choice in making.
Homosexuality it's not a choice. You just don't wake up one day and say, hey, this is me now, I want to be this. I feel as though, because a lot of people have different views on it, even within the LGBT community, they have different views, but I'm a person who believes that you were born, you know, that spirit of yours.
And let's be clear, homosexuality is pertaining to the sexual act of.
Correct.
So that's not something that you're doing constantly. Yeah, it might be something that is recurring, but it's not something that you're constantly walking into church having sex with somebody. That's your sexuality, and that's not who you are as a person.
Correct. If you can take a poll over the LGBT community and you ask them, is that something that you would change about yourself? Is that something that you would not want to be? I mean, half of us would probably say, yeah, I don't want to be that, or you know, that's something that I don't look to. But those are the feelings that we have, and that's something that we live with daily. So it's not a choice that we just wake up and say, hey, I want to be homosexual today, or hey, I want to be hetero today, and I'm just. It has a lot of confusion behind it, and if you're not really within it, you can't really speak on it or talk about it. You know, it's kind of a touchy subject, because we can say all day of how I feel as though, you know, this heterosexual man should be doing this and doing that, but I don't know his walk, because I've been there before, but I wasn't really. But I still had. Anyways, that's another story. But yes,
I think T.S. Madison, a big name in the community.
In the LGBT community.
Yes, she did a live on Facebook, and she was just touching on how you sit and you struggle with things all day.
Yes.
You sit and you struggle with, oh my God, I just had sex with a man, or oh my God, I just fantasized about a woman, as a same sex or whatever. You have those struggles, and you go to the safe place of God's home. And I just think it's so amazing to me, and as she touched on in the video, how it's almost kind of the worst place that you could be.
Yeah.
As a gay person, as a trans person, as a lesbian, because it's a legalized hate fest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could be a legalized hate fest, and that is absolutely tragic to me.
I think that the entire the whole situation that's really brought. This has always been an issue throughout the African American community, but I think it really was very profound when the certain sermon with Kim Burrell and her hate speech that she had, or her hate sermon, sort of say, and it really raised a lot of red flags, especially within our community, and then I feel as though that whole thing really divided us even more, and separate us from the homosexuals and the heterosexuals, and people had different views based upon. Some people were, they didn't tolerate the hate either, but then some people were just more so like, why do you care? They're going to talk about it. It's about the Bible and this and that. But then the same breath, if they were talking about you having your child a wedlock, then it would be, oh, it's hate, and you shouldn't judge me, and so it's like a double-edged sword. And there's so many commandments, and there's so many things that go against, and it's sin. We live in sin daily. Even when we try to be our cleanest self, we sin every day. But the thing about it is that my Father died on the cross for our sin. Yeah. So therefore, he knows that we're works in progress.
So. And so, with that being said, you mentioned the Ken Burrell situation.
Yes.
Do you find that there is a disconnect or a rivalry between Black women and gay men?
Yes and no. I would say it is because they're the first ones to out us, or they're the first ones to judge us, and the first ones to lash out on speaking of just Kim Burrell. But then on the second hand, you always see little stuff saying, oh, I wish you had that gay best friend, or you always around, and even I've even read something in regards to when Black women go out, they like to go to gay clubs because they feel as though that they're not being hit on by other men. They have that free space where they're able to be themselves and just kick it and kiki with everybody else and dance and have fun. But the thing about it is that then you go back into church and then you talk about us like a dog, but we just beat your face so you can go to church. I don't get it. It's
you model yourselves after
exactly
the gay men, but yet you're so, oh my God, disgusted by that part. I don't understand, I guess, because it is something that Black women tend to just be so angry about. Like
they are. And I saw one thing also on Facebook, and it was basically like a meme. It was they did a priority in regards to like what the slang is in regards to Black women, and they were doing the yes and all this, and you got beat and slay and all this other stuff. What's the tea? So what they're saying is that they came up with this type of lingo, and the gay males took over it. But it's so funny that it's the total opposite. So, but what their whole argument is that gay males they try to emulate what their mothers and aunts and grandmothers have done in the past, and that's how they got where they got this slang from. But the thing about it is that we came up with this type of lingo, and then you stole it from us, and you see people like on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they're always, yes, honey, and girl, and blah, 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 and you slay, and you, but that came from us, and you feel so comfortable with doing it, and then stealing it from us, you Christopher Columbus Satans, you. But, Yeah, I mean, just give us our credit. I mean, and don't try to be like our BFFs in our face, but then, you know, shaming us behind your
What
back.
I find funny is that, you know, is you can have someone be so cool, like we're friends. This is my Judy and blah blah blah. But the second you do something to cross me, or the second you do something that I don't like, that's the first thing that I harp on. Oh, you a faggot. Oh, you this and you that, and you sleeping with men and blah. And it's like if you use it against them to kind of demean. You know what I'm saying? It's not something to demean. It's like why is that such a? I don't get it. It's like it's 2017. We've had decades of homosexuality, of alternative lifestyles, of different bills passed, and different things that have occurred and taken place. But it's like we're still in the same place in a lot of ways when it comes to the mentality against anything different, and I don't understand that. That's the part that really boggles my mind. Because we can progress as a country, we can progress as a nation with technology and all this other kind of stuff, but that's the one thing that we tend to have the major hiccup on.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because do you think that the Bible still holds true to our modern day of what we go through at this point?
Because that's a good question.
Because a lot of people, that's what they're preaching, and that's what they say, and that's what Kim Burrell said. I'm preaching the truth in the Bible, and this is what it is. So do you think that it still holds that true?
I was watching a Facebook Live the other day, and there was a guy who used to be a preacher, and he was actually saying how for 35 plus years he's believed this book. He was talking about how he stopped believing in the Bible because we always tend to teach from the Bible and things like that, but we fail to realize that the Bible was written at a different time, completely different world. And now things have changed, and here we are in 2017, so you can't really, you know what I'm saying, take everything. I think that the Bible was really intended for inspiration.
Yeah.
I think that it was intended for something to kind of fashion after in certain ways, but I don't think that it was something that we should take verbatim, because times have changed, things have changed, and
yeah. So I mean, just like if
I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say, but go ahead.
So I mean, like, I'm glad you brought that up in regards to like changing, because just as though if you go into a classroom and the textbooks have changed from previous years before, so you don't have the same textbook that you had when you were in high school versus now they have a totally different textbook because everything's been changed. There's different things. The world is changing. Everything is different now, and it's not for the same type of time when it was written. So what Kim Burrell was doing in regards to her, I mean, again, it's talked about all the time, and it's nothing wrong that she was talking about it. It was the matter and the content that she used to basically talk how she was about it.
I think it was wrong that she talked about it, because I honestly don't think it's anyone's business what you do in the bedroom. And for me, that's what homosexuality is. Now I get that you're
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That part was off. That part was off. She should have never been saying about having women and they put their faces in their breasts and they're perverts, and if you let another man put his penis in, like all of that. Now that was wrong, and that's where it became a hate sermon in regards to her just talking about homosexuality in the church. Because I mean, again, as I said before, it's talked about. I've been to many of the sermons and they talked about homosexuality. I mean, it didn't make me clench my pearls or anything. I made me want to walk out the room.
That video broke my heart, because when you texted me about it, because I hadn't heard about it at this point. I don't think nobody really just heard about it. So it was kind of getting out. But and when I looked for it, she had deleted it.
Yeah,
so I couldn't find
I had just sent it to you, and then
I couldn't find it, which is red flag number one. Because if you don't feel as though it was wrong,
you would never delete it.
Why would you delete it? That's red flag number one. Number two is when I saw the video, I didn't even recognize her in a way.
Yeah, it was almost like a different, like a mask.
If you follow Kim Burrell, if you've been a fan of her style of song, she didn't even look the same. Like it was like.
And let me just start off like, I adored Kim Burrell. Like I loved her voice. I loved her albums. I was a main supporter of Kim Burrell, like from years and years. But and maybe I didn't do my investigation on mine, because I've heard that she's been doing this for years. It's always been her spirit. Like she's always done that. It's just now that it's coming out more. So maybe I didn't do my research when I did it, when I said that I loved her so much, but I just fell in love with her voice, and I thought she was about love, and that's what her name is on Twitter, Kim Burrell Love, and all she expressed was love and love and love and love towards everybody. When I think of love, I think of that safe and that haven and that, you know, that genuine unconditional love, whether if I'm gay or I'm not gay, or if I'm a thief or I'm not a thief, or I'm you know, anything under the sun. I just feel like love is something that's supposed to bring it together, not separate.
And let me tell you what I actually learned though.
Yeah.
That a lot of old-time Christians, a lot of the older generations don't like Kim Burrell because her singing is so unorthodox. It's very worldly, they say. It's very jazz and it's very modern, and so it's just funny that, you know, she has that type of. I could not believe.
It broke my heart. Like I literally was like almost in tears. I was just like,
yeah,
Kim,
yeah,
this isn't you. Like I just didn't get it.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that she might have had a husband or a baby daddy at one point who might have, you know, tipped and dipped on down through there, and it's a personal thing, because everything that was spewing out of her pores, it was personal.
It was personal. It was very
a personal thing, and it wasn't just for God. It was a I hate you because you messed up my life and you took this from me, and
that's the gag. And yes, that came from a gay lingo. That's the gag, because that's what really happened.
But who doing your hair? Who's styling you? Who putting them busted wigs on? Who's doing these things for you in a way that you can come out? Because her makeup has been great these past year.
I actually personally know one of her makeup artists, and I actually was talking to him on the phone that evening, and I was just like, I can't believe this. And he was just like, you know, I knew this about her. He was like, only thing I get from her is a chick. It's disheartening. It just saddens me that she would have to go to that level. And it's crazy because even that night when she was getting circled around and it was everything happening, she wanted to go on Facebook Live and express how she was this, and you guys know who I am and I'm about love. And then in the same sentence, you like, y'all was never supportive of me anyway.
I didn't get a Grammy.
I haven't yet to sell 1 million records. Y'all ain't doing nothing for me. It was like, it was just like so
unbelievable.
But like, I was just like,
unbelievable. What? Like I was watching, like this is. I saw her career end in front of my eyes.
Literally. Because
when I tell you that,
it's terrible. I really hope that she has. I hope she gets some type of remorse.
The industry of church.
The
industry of church is built on a lot of different backs. And the LGBT community, I think, is one of the largest backs. We're so into God and into the message and into the music and into the expression of whatever it is that we're expressing for God. And to sit and I just can't. I can't.
It's saddening.
I can't. But you know, it is what it is. And I think that the most important thing that I've learned out of this is that even when you're attacked, you know, you have to definitely love the attacker, and I send love to her. I send love to whomever else feels that way. I think it's so sad that you are so worried and consumed with someone else's lifestyle that you're not watching your own. I don't get it, because she's not skinny, which means she's
good.
She eats, huh?
Yeah, that's a form of sin.
Huh? She has a son and she's not married in it.
She's not.
She's divorced? Is she
That's a form of sin. Even the divorce is sin.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to get a divorce.
No.
But we're not talking about those things. Like it's so many things that we can call out. But just as I said before, it's just with homosexuality. I mean, like, people are not gonna know that you've been married 4 or 5 times. You know, got a divorce unless they know who you are. But with me, I can walk down the street and they can automatically pin me. It's like, oh, he's homosexual. You know. It's hard, but I mean, at the end of the day, let's end these hate. Like we started off the year with all this hate. Let's not make this the remaining.
And to all of you watching, just remember to be yourselves, no matter what. God loves you. Whomever you acknowledge God to be, you can be exactly who you are. Oh, and I'm transgender. Bye.